And we are live. Welcome to the Political Orphans. My name is Nico and I am your in-house conservative. To my left, Rob Ambrose, our token liberal. Our goal is simple. We want to show you that it's possible for a lefty and a righty to not only get along, but to be able to have a civil conversation when we disagree. Because never forget, common sense has no political affiliations. On the show today, of course, we have no choice but to talk about Trump. Trump is always up to something. Carney's always up to something. But this time, Trump just announced that he will put 35% tariffs on Canada. But don't you worry, because I'm sure that Mark Carney is going to deal with it when he comes back from vacation. An RCMP staff sergeant called traditional values extremist. We're going to talk about the Manitoba wildfire and why you need to pay attention to them, because they're probably very close to what happened in Saskatchewan. And finally, we have to talk about the Epstein case, because we've been trying to put that on a show for at least 3 episodes. I was out for 2. My apologies. But today, we're going to talk about the Epstein case. So get your comments ready, because the show starts now. What's going on, man?
How's it going, brother? You got some big news happening over the last couple days.
Yeah, brother. Fuck, I'm a father. So
big,
weird.
Big papa. Big pappy.
Yeah, man. Fuck, man. All the women out there, to all the women watching this show, all the mothers watching this show, god damn, you guys are tough.
Oh, fuck yeah.
God damn. And you know, I try to keep my personal life private, because I just don't want my family to be exposed to this. But I gotta say, my wife did it, no epidural. She did it the natural way, like she intended to do. She is a fucking monster, man. I gotta say, I've gained so much respect for my wife. She literally broke her water, I think, on Tuesday, 11 a.m. We didn't go to the hospital until 9 a.m. the day after, almost 24 hours after the water broke. No contraction. So we thought they would just send us back, right? Like, hey, wait for the contractions. Nope. We got to stay there from 9 a.m. to, fuck, man, my son was born at 4 a.m. the day after. She was in contraction for hours, and she fucking pushed for 3.5 hours, like 3 on all fours, just like screaming, like her vagina was staring from the inside out. Yeah, man, bro. And she did it natural. That's what she wanted to do. That's what she wanted to do, man. And you know, she wanted during the, when she's just getting the contraction, but she's not pushing it. She's like, I want the epidural. And I'm like, remember what you told me? You said you wanted to do it the natural way. I'll hold you accountable to that. And she was so mad. Oh man, she was mad. She's like, you want it? No, but she's like, you want it? No problem. You can ask for it. I won't stop you from getting it. But that is not what you said you wanted. And she stuck to it. Like, she stuck to it. Bro, all the baby was stuck in her between her hips for about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. It would not move anymore, so they had to come in. And man, this is atrocious. It was not pretty to see, but they take kind of it's something
forceps or something.
No, that we did not want to do the two tools. No, but there's
it caused a lot of damage.
A suction cup. Okay. That they can go if the baby's already there. Like, they could see the baby. It's just, it wasn't like she didn't have the strength. After 3.5 hours, she couldn't push anymore. She had nothing left. And the last one, they just kind of suckered the top. They pulled it out. He came out. He has a little red spot on his head, but it's going to be gone in a couple of days. But yeah, man, got a son, bro.
Yeah, no, congrats, man. It's a wild experience. It's it's a beautiful thing. But yeah, all the respect in the world to women who go through that. Like, I won't lie. I'd be like, fucking give me whatever drug you got. Give me every drug you have. I don't give epidurals, fucking oxys,
cocaine, whatever.
Cocaine. You got meth in there. Give it to me. I don't give a shit. Give me the drugs, guys. But women they're on another level with that shit. And yeah, I got nothing but respect for that.
the thing that we agreed, my wife and I wish I could have done it for her. I have a very high pain tolerance. I've gotten injured so many surgeries in my life. I wish I could have done it for her.
Yep.
But it's one of the things that women don't consider, and I'm not blaming them for that. It's just it's not something that they actually realize is whatever you take, the baby takes. So if you have an epidural, not only are epidurals dangerous because they literally inject directly in your spinal cord. Anything that has to do with your spinal cord, I would stay away from it.
Have you ever seen the needle?
I don't want
fucking like huge.
yeah. But the thing is what women don't understand, and again, I'm not telling people what to do or what not to do, but that means that if you take an epidural, your kid is stoned. By the time they get out, they're not normal, like they're high. Because everything you take goes to them. And that's why we didn't want to do it. And I'm so fucking impressed, bro, that she literally tried for 3.5 hours. I was crying like a bitch. Not because it was just she was crying because she could not do it anymore. She was suffering, bro.
It's an intense moment for sure. But yeah,
so thank you for everybody in the chats. Thank you. I'm not gonna make the show about this. I'm still emotional because my son's still in the hospital. He's 5 pounds. He's super underweight,
but he's healthy.
38 and a half week. So he wasn't a preborn, and he's just a small kid. And yeah, his glucose is low, so he's been on an IV for 12 hours. Hopefully he's released over the weekend, but I spent 2 days sleeping in a camping chair right next to him, and the neo what did they call it? Neonatal.
Yep.
And it's funny because the nurses all talk to each other. They're like, that guy's gonna sleep here, and they all know, so they don't. They're just like, whatever, just let him sleep. Like, let him sleeping next to a fucking day old. They don't sleep that much, but yeah. All to say that
is the baby sleeping
awesome.
much?
Oh, he's all he does is sleep, eat, and poop. That's pretty much it, man.
Yeah, you'll in a couple months you'll think back to that first couple days. You're like, oh my god, that was heaven when he slept so much. And then because those first couple months, man, it's a lot of getting up at 3 a.m., 2 a.m.
I get up at 3 a.m. no matter what, and I don't sleep well. I haven't slept well in decades, man. I'm such a light sleeper that anything wakes me up. But this is the type of stuff. I'm a very impatient guy in real life, but I would not trade what I'm doing right now for the world. Just being able to, for him, I have to wake him up every 2.5, 3 hours to feed him. My wife has been destroyed, right, over labor. So I want her to spend as much time resting while I'm just there for the kid, and now she's taking care of him until I get back there. But it's you have to take care of your children, obviously.
Of course. So what are we gonna start with?
Well, we don't have a choice. We don't have a choice to talk about Trump because Trump is doing what Trump does, and he's trumping. See, that's a new expression.
Trumping things.
Yeah, twats be twatting, Trump be trumping.
Yeah.
That's actually a great t-shirt right there. Again, so many good ideas for t-shirts. But yeah, we absolutely have to talk about Trump. And he just announced this morning that, of course, he's going to put new tariffs on Canada starting August 1st. Because remember that the Mark Carney was giving himself until July 31st to make it happen.
Yep.
So here's a video talking about Trump's new tariffs. So let's check it out. Let's talk after. Okay. Come on.
Wow. The president is once again upending trade talks that had Canada hope.
Oh, what the fuck, man? Oh, damn. I leave for a day. I leave for 2 days.
It all goes to shit.
Once again, upending trade talks that had Canada hopeful would yield a new deal in just a matter of days. But then last night, Donald Trump posting a letter to Prime Minister Mark Carney threatening to slap 5%.
The audio's kind of okay, but the where did you find that?
That is literally on YouTube. That's literally on YouTube.
On YouTube.
Very interesting.
Maybe just reload it, see if it
Yeah, that's what I just did, but that did not do much. But there's a bunch of them. I'm just I have another one. It's
Yep.
like you can imagine, a lot of people are talking about this, right? Finding a
Well,
video
yeah,
about it is not going to be the hardest thing to
not
find.
too difficult.
So let's try that again.
President Trump announcing tariffs on imports from Canada of 35%. Something must have made him mad. I don't know what the latest is. Maybe Megan knows. They start on August 1st. Megan Casella joins us now from Washington. Any particular thing, or just slow walking the whole process? What did anything in particular spur this latest threat?
I just love how that's automatically where they go, right? So what happened there? What happened now? What did big baby Trump not get? I just love how they go there. Okay, so what happened this time?
Yeah. They're always like, is he just being an idiot or what? I don't know. I don't know who that guy's name is, but that's kind of his thing. He's just always acting like he's always like, oh, these fucking idiots.
He's obviously not a fan of Trump. Obviously.
I don't believe so. No. Is there more to the video though?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, yeah.
The video has barely started, so
yep. We'll talk after.
Not that we know of yet, Joe. We might learn today, but we don't know exactly what sparked this latest Canada threat. But I'll say there were two big escalations overnight on the trade and tariff front from the president. Canada being the first one, 35% on imports from Canada, which, by the way, the second largest U.S. trading partner and the largest buyer of American goods last year. Now, an administration official did tell me late last night that the exemptions currently in place for USMCA compliant goods likely will remain, as will the lower 10% tariff for energy imports. That would soften this a little bit, but still a significant escalation from the 25% level where it is now to 35% on everything else. I was told that decision is not final. And this does come, to your point, just a few days, I think 2 weeks after the president was first angry about Canada's digital services tax. And then once Prime Minister Mark Carney pulled that back, then things seem to be back on track. So we don't know what caused this one. The other big tariff threat overnight, though, is that President Trump also told NBC News he's considering raising the universal baseline tariff from the 10% level where it has been since April to 15 or even 20%. So that would mean everything U.S. companies and consumers buy from abroad would cost at a minimum an extra 20% in the form of tariffs. And if I can take just a step back, this week began with the president postponing that major July 9th deadline for the country-specific tariffs to kick in. It looked like a potential softening of his trade stance, or at least a delay. But since then, we've seen these new tariff threats for Canada and Brazil. Neither of them were facing the deadline before. A 50% tariff on copper, a potential 200% tariff on pharmaceuticals, and now a possible doubling of the baseline tariff. So, guys, a vast expansion of the trade war on multiple fronts just in the past few days.
So, yeah, that's what do you think? Give me 2 seconds. I need to reload my screen here, but tell me what you think about this.
I mean, who the fuck knows what's going on here? I'm reading his letter here now, and after you've played the vid you're going to play, I'll bring up the letter that he wrote. It's pretty Trumpy. I mean, it's not even a threat. He said I wasn't sure if he would it was a threat or if we don't get a deal, the tariffs will be put on. But no, he says we will starting August 1st, 2025, we will charge Canada a tariff of 35%. He doesn't seem to be making too many demands, or you know what I mean? Doesn't seem like a negotiating tactic. He mentions fentanyl. Honestly, I think that's a bit of a cop-out. I think fentanyl is just his excuse. I think he just wants to hammer Canada. And it's I wonder where the elbows up crowd is now. Now, that said, I don't think Polyev would have made much of a difference. It's not even about Trump's just got it in his head that he's going to just hammer Canada. And I don't think there's a whole lot we can do about it other than, invest in our own infrastructure, beef up our resource production, and try to become a global resource superpower. It's really our only hope. And in the long term, this might be a good thing for us to sort of break us out of our false sense of security. assuming the United States would always be there to sell our shit to. I don't know if this is a negotiation tactic or if it's going to happen, but I mean, it's gonna hurt. This is the problem with relying on one country to buy 80%, 85% of your exports.
95%. No, 80. No, 85.
Yeah.
85%. Yeah.
Which still crazy out.
Oh, that's a massive dependency. But what's funny is that, hold on, let me bring that up, because one thing, I don't know if you noticed, but it's one thing for Trump to say this, but I don't know if you knew this, but it was announced this week that a couple of days ago, I think it was 3 days ago, that Mark Carney was actually on vacation. So I remember all the videos of him complaining during his campaign, saying that how we're facing the greatest economic threat of our lifetime. This is a crisis. We've never seen anything like it.
On vacation. Yeah, and we don't know where he is. They won't tell us where he is. Why? It's
July
so
8th. July 8th, he's on vacation. Like,
this shit just makes like why wouldn't you tell people? Like, it just gives space for people to speculate and whatnot. I don't just tell us where the fuck you're going. That's a pretty common thing. Like, is it a security issue? Like, okay, then that's on us for not being able to protect our prime minister. Like, you should be able to protect him without having to keep his whereabouts secret. It's like he's in witness protection program. And what the fuck is he on vacation from anyways? It's been a vacation. They're barely working. The whole term so far has been a vacation. But yeah, I don't. The one, like I said, I'll cut Carney a tiny bit of slack here. That I don't know if there's a whole lot he can do here. Trump's just determined to, fucking hammer us for whatever reason. But I don't know if that digital service tax fiasco contributed to this, but it certainly didn't help. It certainly did not help, and maybe this is him punishing Carney for that. Because we said at the time, like, remember, immediately Carney backtracked. It was like, oh yeah, we're gonna rescind it. What did he say? It was part of the plan. We were always going to rescind it.
It was negotiation tactics.
No, that was not part of the plan. Nobody believes that. No. And we said, we're like, but Trump, he's spiteful. Like, it's highly unlikely he's just gonna pretend it didn't happen.
Not just gonna take it. No.
And especially because once, like, the backtracking, it had to happen because you couldn't let America walk away from the table. But the real mistake was in just doing it in the first place. Because once you backtrack, now it's blood in the water.
You look weak. You're weak.
Yeah, you look weak. And if you know anything about Trump's psychology, if you look weak, his prey drive is triggered and he will go after you even harder.
But I would probably add, and obviously those are all speculations because we'll never get the proof to this, but I would add that one of the reasons why Trump is saying that is because he heard that Mark Carney was on vacation and he's not taking it seriously. Because that's everywhere, right? Everybody knows this. Like, it's been in some of the biggest publication outside of like the CBC and Global News type of deal. But a guy like Trump, if Trump is going to be spiteful for you, trying to put a digital service tax, even if it wasn't you, it was your previous government, but you kept it in place and then you acted all tough like you were going to do it, he's going to be shameful about, he's going to be spiteful about you being on vacation when you've been selling that shit. Like, don't think that elbows up movement bullshit has not gone to Trump. He knows this shit. He knows that Carney was elected on standing up to him. So that if we agree that he's a spiteful man, and goddamn, I don't know who would disagree with.
That guy.
So and not only that, he knows when he has the advantage. He fucking knows that he's as you always say, he's the big swinging dick, right? So he's gonna take. So elbows up. We're gonna put a DST on you. Then we're gonna backtrack. Then I'm going to go on vacation when I've been saying to my people that this is the biggest economic threat. Like, people need to be very careful in Canada, thinking that until the last election, or until about 2 years ago, nobody cared about Canada. about about politics in Canada. The US now is extremely fucking interested. They talk about Canada all the fucking time. So you got to be very fucking careful. And to kind of prove our point, I'm not going to say who it is, but you kind of can know if you listen to the show on Tuesday. But Rob and I talked about a specific CBC reporter on Tuesday. And it turned out that he contacted me behind the scene and he's like, hey man, I never retracted that. I never retracted that comment. I'm like, oh fuck, that's kind of cool. So just to show that if us talking about politics, yes, we have about 245,000 followers between the two of us, so we do have a reach. But at the same time, that same reporter reached out to me on Instagram to just say, I was watching the show. I like what you guys are doing, and by the way, I did not backtrack that comment.
Make a correction,
here's the link. And I'm like, bro, you need to come on the show.
So just for some context for the listeners there, you might remember we discussed that story of Travis Damrash, I believe his name was. Remember we were talking about how he said that in due time he would tell the full story, and then it said, and then we said, apparently it was deleted. The CBC story said that tweet was deleted, and he contacted Nico to make the correction that he did not delete that tweet. So and I talked to him on X as well, and like you said, he said he loved the show, and he said his lawyer advised him to not just lay low right now, but when he can talk, he's expressed interest in coming on the show and talking to us about it. So that'd be pretty cool.
So the point I was going to make with this is that if we are making a show with a few 100,000 followers, and the person that is probably being tracked by every single reporter in Canada right now to speak on their show was listening to our show, people he did not know. Guess what? Trump is aware of every fucking thing that Carney has said and keeps on saying. That's my point. If you put it out there, bro, people are listening. And if you're looking at a spiteful man or somebody that needs to establish dominance like Trump does every single time, guess what? He's aware. There's people out there that told him, bro, he's been saying this and he's acting up. He's going to do what he has to do to look strong. And it's not going to be good for any of us. Just to say that Canadians are not the ones that are gonna be benefiting from Mark Carney's poor negotiation tactics.
Well, he hasn't done anything good remotely so far. There's been nothing. Like I said, I think for whatever reason, Trump's just got it in for us right now. I don't think there's a whole lot Carney could have done, but that nonsense with the digital service tax, that certainly didn't help. And I'm sure it caused some of this. But it's tough because there's no obvious solution. Like, it doesn't even seem like Trump wants anything, right? Like he talks about the fentanyl thing, but the reason I think he brings that up is because we're never going to be able to stop all the fentanyl. And as long as there's some, he'll be able to say, oh, you didn't stop at all, and keep it going. I think that's a red herring. I think he just wants to hammer us. He probably, because he wants to bring us to our knees and have us begging to become the 51st state. I think that's probably his calculation. But what we got to do, we don't have too many options. But I think we really need to invest back in the country. And we've talked about this before. We got to invest in our natural resources. We got to become energy exporters. We got to become an energy superpower. And then we won't need to rely on the United States. But right now we do. We've put ourselves in this position, unfortunately.
I'm just going to share my screen here because I got a video of Carney saying, responding to Trump's tariffs. But I'm just looking at X right now because a lot of the time when you're looking at what people are saying, like regular people, what they're saying about this, you look at the comments, you kind of get a feel for where people are sitting here, because obviously the tariffs are trending everywhere. But you look at this guy, I don't know who that guy is. I don't know who Warren Kinsella is. And if you're a Canadian and you willingly choose to buy American / travel there while all of this bullshit has been going on, you need to do some serious self-assessment. And I'm like, if you're ready to vote for a liberal government that's destroyed our economy over the past 10 years, you need to do some serious self-assessment. That's what I would tell you. The Americans are not the ones fucking up our economy. We did. But it's interesting that still, right now, people are seeing what Trump is doing like the real problematic and cutting all the slack possible to Mark Carney that's been selling the idea that it was a crisis. It's Carney that's putting that in their mind, and he's on vacation. He doesn't even believe his own bullshit. He doesn't even believe his own fucking bullshit. But then you have the people that are just like, well, you know, like, oh,
well, yeah.
Babcock, that woman. Oh man, that woman is
Laura
such
Babcock.
Oh, I follow her just to hear the dumb. You know, you need to follow people that represents not your enemy, but the other side that you don't understand. She's the epitome of a white Karen liberal. And I rip into her every single time I see one of her posts. So I haven't seen this one yet, but obviously she's talking about the 35% tariffs. But let's see what she says. We are at a point where no trade negotiation with Americans mean nothing. Trump is a mercurial madman with no shake in the economic success of his people. His kleptocratic regime uses tariffs to gain stock market. Canada must do all we can to move off reliance on USA. Again, you know, you said this before where people are ready to burn down the house, but they have no fucking plan on what the next step is. And she is like that all the time.
Like that.
All of her responses, it's always emotional. And let's not look at our own people. And that's why I follow her, because she posts dumb shit like that every single fucking day. Not once have I seen her blame our own government for what happened. It's like a guy that's gained power 6 months ago is responsible for 10 years of our economic policies, right? This is what blows my mind. How are people still not understanding that Carney ran a campaign of fear on beating Trump, and how Pierre Poilievre was like Trump, yet he's more like Trump than Pierre Poilievre is, and he had no solution. We had no solution to fight the US. We don't.
No.
They literally buy 85% of our exports. They have the negotiation power.
It was really stupid. It was stupid to pit and us against them in his campaign. He did it because he knows that fear gets votes, 100%. Right? But it did not do Canada well. I mean, look, Trump's an idiot. He's vindictive and he's petty, and I don't think this is any type of smart negotiation. I don't think he's playing 3D chess. I think he's just a fucking guy with a hammer, and he wants to hit what he perceives as nails. Yeah. But the point of it is, you can't get mad. Like, it's pointless to get mad. You may as well get mad at the wind for blowing, you know what I mean? Or the rain for raining. It's out of our control. There's nothing that we can do. We need to focus on what we can do. And that is to, invest in this country, get off reliance on the United States, get export capacity on both coasts. That means building pipelines, which probably means repealing Bill C-69. That means exploiting the Ring of Fire and all the billions, hundreds of billions of wealth locked up in those mountains up there. And then we can sell our goods on the global stage. It means investing in ports and harbors and export infrastructure. It's going to cost a lot of money. The good news is that'll put a lot of Canadians back to work if we're going to lose, some of the jobs that we probably are going to because of these tariffs. But we need to do something. We can't just sit and bitch about fucking Trump, and we can't just sit and also pretend it's okay and it'll be once Trump leaves in 3 years, it'll be fine, because you never know. Like, this might be a long-term thing, right? So you can't. We got to get off reliance on the United States.
But that takes years, if not decades, to do so. But the bullshit, the whole bullshit of this is that you have Carney that says this, that runs a full campaign on fear. Trump obviously doesn't like that shit, and he will stump you because he knows that he can. But then Carney is still telling us that, we're going to build our own infrastructure. As you said, is not he pushes Bill C-5 that gives them no powers now that the conservative have removed all the bullshit that was part of that bill. And he hasn't removed Bill C-69, and he's sending $1 billion of Canadian money to China instead of to buy ships for BC Ferries instead of having them here. I would have been okay with Carney saying, you know what, we have a couple of manufacturer in Canada that could do it. We're going to take a couple of bids from them to see. We're going to put an open RFP, request for proposals. Hey guys, who can bid on this? Sure, maybe you lack money. That's fine. We have funds that we've put aside in order to help grow our self-reliance, which that would have been one, right? To say that, you know, instead of sending $1 billion to China to produce those ships, maybe we invest $1.5 billion in Canada. We give loans at no interest or extremely low interest to Canadian companies, and we will buy from there. Like, but that's the thing. This is what blows my mind. It's not even an American thing. Like, it's easy to blame Trump because everybody's blaming Trump because everybody has an opinion of Trump, right? You either like him or you don't. Nobody's like, Trump doesn't bother me. No, fuck you. No matter who you are, you have a fucking opinion about Trump.
Nobody's
and I
neutral.
Think this is why. No. And that's why it's such an easy target, right? To just blame him for everything. But yet, Carney is not just about Trump. He does the same thing with China. He's telling us that he wants to be self-reliant, but any chance that he gets, he seems to be giving our money away instead of investing it here. And this is always what blows my mind, that people are falling for this shit.
Yeah,
but
why is he why is he giving $4 billion to Ukraine in this moment? In this moment,
no. But here is what I got: a video talking about what Carney responded to what Trump did, but I just found a post from him. So let's check the post out first, and then we can go. But throughout the current trade negotiation with the United States, the Canadian government has steadfastly defended our workers and businesses. We will continue to do so as we work towards the revised deadline of August 1st. Canada has made vital progress to stop the scourge of fentanyl in North America. We're committed to continuing to work with the United States to save lives and protect communities in both our countries. We are building Canada strong. The federal government, provinces, and territories are making significant progress in building one Canada economy, or one Canadian economy. We are poised to build a series of major projects in the national interest. We are strengthening our trading partnership throughout the world. Again, he says nothing. Throughout the current negotiation with the U.S., we have put our workers first. When? What the fuck does that mean? What the fuck does that mean? Elbows up, elbows up. You haven't done shit. You're on a fucking vacation when the deadline is on August 1st. Like, it's literally, I made a video about this this week. I'm like, okay, imagine that you're a business owner, that you have the biggest contract ever that just came in. You need somebody to be dedicated to this. You hire a pro to take care of that specific contract because it's the biggest deal you've ever made in your business. And then 3.5 months in, he's like, hey, I need a vacation. Okay, bye. It's like, okay, hold on. You haven't been working for 4 months. The deadline's in 3 weeks and you want to go on vacation? Like, what the fuck is going on? That is Mark Carney for you. That's exactly what he did. And he did it online. He did it while everybody knows. And he's dealing with a guy like Trump that's vindictive, already pissed off at us. Like,
I could see
looking at this, but you look at this post, you're just like, Canada's made vital progress to stop the flow of fentanyl in North America. How did you, from what I hear, there's still a bunch of massive labs in Canada that are Chinese run that are still in place. So what the fuck have you done? What the fuck have you really done to stop the flow? Even if that was the real reason, right? Let's assume that Trump is not just, we all know this is an excuse, obviously. Yeah. It's a negotiation tactic. But then this is the part I don't like. Like, you look at the bottom here. We're building Canada strong. How so? Bill C5 doesn't do anything. Bill C69 is still there, and you're on fucking vacation when we're facing our strongest crisis. Okay, cool. The federal government, provinces, and territories are making significant progress in building one Canadian economy. How so? We are poised to build a series of major new projects in the national interest. We are strengthening our trade partnership throughout the world. Okay, we are poised to build a series of major new projects. You have not announced one yet. So what the fuck are you talking about? Then we're strengthening our trading partnership throughout the world. Dealing with the EU that buys like 5% of our exports, that's strengthening our trading partnership. Are you fucking retarded? 85% goes right across the border, you tard. And they're saying, like, what the fuck is he saying? Like, he accused Pierre Poliev during his campaign, and God fucking knows, like, I do not like Pierre Poliev, of being a slogan machine, right? Just slogan after slogan after slogan. That's all Mark Carney's been doing.
Yeah.
All he's been doing over the past 4 months.
These slogans could have been written.
Slogans.
They could have been written 2 months ago and just put on like auto tweets. You know what I mean? Like
it doesn't even. It's like, what are we talking about today? Copy paste.
Yeah.
Enter.
Like I'm assuming it's attempt to be a response to Trump's tariffs because he does mention fentanyl, but like that's it. Like he doesn't mention anything else at all. Like you said, it's slogans. I didn't think it was like, what did he say? The worst crisis since World War II. I didn't think that. I didn't feel like it was that. But if you believe that, if you're going to say that, don't fucking go on vacation. And the funny thing is, it's now starting to feel like it actually might be becoming that kind of a crisis. And
but he caused it.
And like, he's on vacation. I just, I think obviously politicians, they have a right to a vacation too, but like 3 weeks, like while you're supposed to be negotiating with your biggest trade partner, that's not smart. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if this was a negotiating tactic. Like he tried to give the impression that he doesn't care. But again, you got to understand Trump, he doesn't give a shit. He'll just be like, "Oh, okay, you don't want to play ball?
You don't care?"
Yeah, I'll just hammer you with 35%. I don't. I mean, I don't know what he's doing, but if he's not, he should be on his way back here right now. He should be cutting his vacation short. If he still stays out there for another couple of days, I don't like that at all. I hate the optics of it. I don't know if anything can be done, but like this is, 35% tariffs. That's a pretty big blow to the country. And you get the idea that the impression that Trump doesn't even have any restraint. He go 45, 55, 100. Why not 200? Like it's kind of scary, right? Like with someone with the world's fucking biggest swinging dick, literally swinging it at your head all the time. But I think the vacation was ill-advised, but I think not like remaining on vacation, if that's what he indeed is going to do, is a epic disaster. Got a bunch of comments coming in, but we'll
let me just play one video before. But the thing that blows my mind again is that if Mark Carney's goal was to fuck it all up, he's doing a great job at it. Like it seems like he's doing everything possible to piss off Trump, outside of calling him a moron, outside of insulting him directly. Like he's playing the passive aggressive bullshit. Like he's acting like you're the annoying little brother that knows that there's things he cannot do that will be too obvious, but he's doing everything possible to make sure that Trump just is unhappy and just fucking stumps us. And then I guarantee you that when that does happen, he's going to play the victim the same way as Trudeau did when big tech companies like Facebook, like Meta, said no to his, we need a tax on our Canadian news content that you're sharing on your social media. You need to give us revenues from this. And big tech are like, fuck you or not. So we're just going to stop sharing your content outside of Canada. And that's what he wanted, right? Trudeau wanted leadership. So he forced the hand of big tech to do it for him. That's exactly to me what Carney is doing. He wants Canada to not be dependent on the US, be dependent on the EU instead. Yet he's ready to destroy our economy or continue to destroy our economy like Trudeau's been doing, and him as Trudeau's main economic advisor over the past 4 years. And it just looks like if his goal is to stop doing business with the US while being able to keep playing the victim, like have that victim card in the back of it, like in his back pocket, what he's doing is exactly what he should be doing. So every time he does something, I'm just like, okay, how long? How long is it going to take? August 2nd, is Carney going to become the biggest fucking victim since Justin Trudeau? And he's done everything he could. Even on vacation, I was working. Because that twat is going to say that. Oh, I was on vacation, sure, but I was still working for the Canadian public. So let me play this because I haven't seen this video. Let me play this. It's a video that was posted by by Global News a few hours ago, and supposedly that Carney, they have a response from Carney to Trump's 35% tariff, and then we'll go into the comments.
Mm-hmm. It's another day, another tweet, another twist and turn in the tariff saga.
President Donald Trump has Canadian temperatures rising again after he posted on Truth Social Thursday afternoon.
President Trump is an extremely unpredictable person, inclined to go off on these missives. But we have no option but to work with the U.S.
The topic, more tariffs may be coming.
This is another threat. If you don't do that, we don't get more progress. By August 1st, we're slapping on 35% of everything that's not already covered by the U.S.-Mexico-Canada Free Trade Agreement. And remember, that agreement runs out next year.
Trump blames Canada's earlier retaliatory tariffs, the fentanyl crisis, and barriers to the sale of U.S. dairy products in this country for the move. BC Premier David Eby coming out hot in response to Trump's latest threat.
I've reviewed the letter. The letter is flailing. It's factually incorrect, and other efforts do come to mind.
Experts say we need to hold on until the waves of threats slow down.
On February 4th, here's the tariffs. No, we're going to delay them. Here are the next set of tariffs. No, we're delaying those ones too. So yes, he certainly has a tendency to go back and forth.
I would say even more worrisome than the tariffs themselves is the uncertainty that we have over tariffs. That uncertainty is choking Canadian businesses every single day that this still exists.
Julia Foy, Global News.
Once again, I love how they never take accountability for 10 years of Liberal policies. Like, I have not heard one single reporter talk about how the only reason that this is possible is because we have such shitty fucking economic policies that have been pushed by the Liberal Party for 10 years.
Well, you're not gonna hear that from a
but this is a fact, right? If they would have moved over, if they would have approved all the pipelines that Alberta wanted, we probably wouldn't be in this situation. Like, our economy would be a lot better than it is now because it would have opened the gate for a bunch of other projects because there would have been the money for it. So it's again, I know I'll never hear that from the lefties, and the righties are never going to say that they made a mistake either. So this is not a partisan thing, right? You'll never get people on either. You'll never hear Pierre Poilievre come in and say that he fucked up. You know this ain't happening. So I'm not just saying it's a leftist problem. It's a problem as a whole. But, man, talk about not addressing the point that we've been allowing this type of situation to happen over the past 10 years. And now that it's happening, I guarantee you Carney's going to play the fucking victim.
Oh yeah, well that's his thing, right? It's gonna be, he's gonna try some sort of elbows up, but I mean, at some point you just gotta knock that shit off. It's not, it's not working. Like,
that's an under fucking statement.
No, it's just, I just feel like they fundamentally are misunderstanding Trump psychology. I think you could have done that with a Biden or a Obama, even like a George W. Bush, who were kind of like more predictable politicians within the establishment. They were, you could tell, you knew more or less what they were going to do. They weren't going to often use the leverage they had behind them as president of the United States. But Trump's not that guy. He's going to use and he doesn't care about being fair. He doesn't care about it. I think most. Yeah, no, he doesn't. Most U.S. presidents in the past have understood that America has leverage in almost every situation, but I think they've been reluctant to be perceived as the giant bully beating up on the smaller guy. Trump doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care about it being a fair fight. He doesn't want it to be a fair fight. And they really misunderstood that, I think, about Trump. They thought they could kind of do the same things. And man, you got to course correct. Like, you have to course correct. Like, it's not working.
Agreed, man. You want to take some of those comments?
Yeah, we'll get some of these comments here. All right. Bumpy Johnson says, buy anything from America lately? I buy quite a bit of American goods. Been getting hit by Canadian customs with absurd fees and taxes. They can't hurt America, so they can Canadians hurt their own. Do you mean from tariffs that we put on their goods? Yeah, that's dumb. It doesn't do anything. It's not going to do anything.
And just the milk thing, we've reviewed this. It wasn't the 400% that Trump was talking about, but depending on the product, it was like 200 something to 300%. So we do have tariffs on Americans.
We should
goods.
get rid of the milk monopoly, man. Like, it doesn't help us
100%.
either. It doesn't help us Canadian consumers. We pay a lot more for milk. I think we
Of
pay
course,
like
because they're
30%
protected.
milk. Yeah, exactly.
Because the price is protected. You basically have a mafia that's controlling, that has a monopoly on the price.
It's not market based.
And if you look, it's not free market. Yeah. And if you look at what some of the people are saying, the actual milk producers, they're dumping milk all the time because they do have them. It's just they have quotas that they need to sell, and that's it. So that is the dumbest fucking thing. But you know that people are greasing their money. They're greasing their pockets. They're making a shit ton of dough by controlling the market, obviously. But I don't know why Canadians are not outraged by this.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think a lot of them are even paying attention. Bumpy continues.
Probably.
Canadians are spiteful. Trump gives people exactly what they deserve. I don't know. I don't think you can say the entire country is like that. I know later on down, I think Bumpy was talking about how he saw he's talking about like he sees people like on the internet and shit. Yeah, there's always idiots on the internet. I don't think you can take like a measure of the country. You go out in the real world and you really don't. It doesn't feel like it does on social media where everyone's a fucking moron. It seems like everybody is an extremist on some issue, not literally, of course, but I don't think Canadians necessarily deserve this. Other than, I guess in a democracy, you get the government you get the government you deserve. So to that extent, I understand what you're saying, but I mean, it's still our people. We're still Canadians. It's still our family, our friends. It's still our loved ones who are at risk of losing their job. And I can't cheerlead it.
But at the same time, there is a massive amount of misinformation out there when it comes to the relationship between Canadians and Americans. And I'm not talking political, like I'm just talking as human beings. And you're talking to a guy that spends half my time down there. And you know what, man? They're just exaggerating, like the same people that I was showing comments earlier from X that are, if you're buying American, you're a moron. I'm just, bro, we're all Americans. We're North Americans. Like it or not, Canada and the US are so fucking close culturally. There's not much difference. If you go to the US, there's not much difference. And I can talk about it because I have traveled 30 different fucking states in the past 3 years. And I didn't do it like airplanes from RV. We stayed where just regular people are. We explored, we talked to people. That's what I fucking do for a living, right? And the animosity that they seem to be talking about in Canada, I only see it from Canada. I don't see Americans looking at Canada the way I see people talk about America, like Canadians here. And that's the part that blows my mind again. I'm just like, bro, we've been friends for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck? You want to blame Trump for all the problems? No problem. You want to blame Carney for all of our problems or Trudeau? No problem. They're going to be gone. Our relationships is still there. My relationship with the US is not, I don't have a relationship with Trump. I don't know the fucking guy.
Yeah.
Like whatever he does is not going to make me hate Americans. This is the part that I don't understand from Canadians is like, they're pissed at the US because they don't like Trump. But then that means that Americans should be pissed at Canada because of Trudeau. But why are they not? And we're still, it comes down to what I've said so many times, like we're so washed out when it comes to our culture, to what it means to be Canadian, that it seems that we need an enemy to just say, we are not Americans. So that's our definition. I guarantee you that if you ask all the people out there, don't matter that they have a massive audience or just regular people, ask them if they don't like the US, they don't want to do anything with the US. No problem. That's your right. No problem. Ask them what it means to be Canadian, and I guarantee you they won't be able to answer your question, or they're probably going to tell you that it means not being American. That right there should raise a massive fucking red flag. Yeah. But it's a massive red flag, right?
Yeah, and I do think, politically we're not that similar to the United States, but like culturally, like you talk, you very much so. You put two Canadians in a room, a Canadian American in a room, and they'll feel, far more similar than the average Canadian and European, right?
100,000%.
100%. Yeah.
Oh.
And I for all of the, political tensions, I still haven't seen it trickle down to the people.
No,
I don't,
agreed.
I don't think most Canadians hate the average American and vice versa. But I think our leaders, that's why I was thinking Carney was making a big mistake when he tried to make this an us versus them thing at the beginning of his term.
Yep.
He seemed to get back away from that, and hopefully he doesn't get back into that now if he perceives himself as under attack and he needs to just reverts back to what worked for him. And I hope he doesn't do that. Pam says, I paid, talking about Bumpy, when you asked if anyone had bought anything in the States, she said, I paid $105 in tariffs on 300 US goods when I cross-border shopped in June. That's wild. And that was just all the tariffs, eh, Pam?
Again, as much as you can hate Trump, we do have tariffs on their goods too. So that's the thing, right? It's not like him or not. What he's saying is mostly true. Obviously, there's a lot of exaggeration. He doesn't know his numbers, but he's still, don't forget, he's an entertainer. At the end of the day, that's what he did for almost 2 decades on his show, The Apprentice, right? He fucking was an entertainer. So obviously he's gonna lie. He's gonna make everything seem worse than it is. But don't be fooled. We do have tariffs on American goods that's been there for years. And he has a point to say, why do we need tariffs? If you're going to have tariffs on our stuff, we're going to put some on yours. And I'm not saying that it's right. I'm not saying that he's wrong. But at the same time, don't dismiss the fact that we do have tariffs on American goods.
Absolutely. Robin says, I drive through my city 4 hours a day every day. The fentanyl issue is not even being addressed. Everyone on vacation. It's bad. Trump is not wrong to stay harping on it. And in full disclosure, I'm not in a border city. I live in New Brunswick. The fentanyl is just not a big issue here. So I'm kind of removed from this problem. If you're sort of closer to the border and you're saying it's a much bigger problem, I will certainly defer to you on that, Robin. But and if it is a real problem, then you want our leaders to do something about it. My only fear is, 2 things can be true. It can be a real problem, and it also could not really be what Trump actually cares about. If we, let's say, magically got rid of all the fentanyl, would Trump just kind of back off? I don't think so. I think he's got a deeper agenda. But regardless of that, we should just be cracking on fentanyl anyways. Like, we shouldn't need to be bribed or blackmailed into it, right? This is something that should be all of us should want our leaders to crack down on fentanyl at the borders.
Agreed.
Jimmy says a growing economy would solve so many problems. Yeah, it really would. Wise guy, right now, Canada's policies on carbon tax, electric vehicles, DEI, LGBTQ, our milk cartel, being in bed with China, and Carney teaming up with the EU. That's what it's really all about. Yeah, of all those things, what really stands out to me is Carney teaming up with the EU. I think, and of course, the digital service tax. I think those are the 2 things that Carney's really done that have, if anything, is triggered this outburst from Trump. I think it's those 2 things, and unfortunately, that they're pretty predictable. I think you wish. I don't know. I don't know. It seems like Carney assumed that he could kind of get away with disrespecting America and by extension disrespecting Trump, while going glad handing over in Europe, and then still come back and get the same sort of deal with the U.S. But that's not clearly how Trump works. There's little things like, inviting Zelensky to the G7. I'm pretty sure that was just a slap in the face for Trump. I'm sure. And you know what? This is what I mean when I say you got to know your enemy. You got to know who you're negotiating with. Even if it wasn't, even if it had nothing to do with Trump, you had to have known Trump was going to perceive it as such. And that is enough. That is enough to not do it. Like, what did we get? What was the benefit to having Zelensky here? well, we gave $4 billion. That's not, I wouldn't really call that a benefit, but it's just like, I don't know, man. Carney needs to run a cost benefit analysis. Like what is the benefit versus the cost of having, say, Zelensky there and poking Trump in the eye? Like, yeah, did it feel good to all the Trump haters? Yeah, probably. But who gives a shit? There's nothing practical about that. We got hurt far more than we got. Who cares if you get a fleeting sense of, haha, this will stick it to him. And I think, I just think Carney has completely misread Trump, and he needs to get his eye on the ball real fast.
Bro, amen to that.
Zeflikov says, even if we invest in our transportation infrastructure, it will take some time, but once accomplished, it will greatly benefit the country. Yeah, that's a great comment. And I see Zeph and Bumpy are having a bit of a back and forth.
We've been saying this for how long have we been saying this?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
right?
it's going to take. We need to be less reliant on the U.S. No questions about it.
100%.
We shouldn't be buying oil and gas we shouldn't be buying oil from Saudi Arabia when we have the third largest reserve of oil and gas in the fucking world. We shouldn't be buying anybody's fucking oil and gas. Zero. It should all be made here. So
100%. And that should be partisan.
No, fuck no. Do you want a strong Canadian economy? Awesome. Middle class. Give those middle class people a fucking good paying job so that they can do what? Spend money on the economy. The more money people have, the more they spend. They don't save it. They fucking spend it. So again, very simple.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly right. And you know, there's this is a part of a conversation from Zeph and Bumpy that it was like a huge back and forth. I'm not going to be able to bring it all up just for time.
No.
You do like to see the that back and forth. Guys, remember to keep it respectful. We can all get obviously heated with this, but this is meant to be a different kind of a place where we can debate, discuss ideas all we want, but we don't need to make it personal.
But that's okay, man. As long as they're okay with it, it's fine, man.
Yeah.
I'd rather they don't, but if they're having fun, again, texts, you know what? Texts are they're very impersonal. So sometimes it sounds a lot harsher than it actually is.
Sure.
So it's also important not to have your panties in a bunch.
Wow, my panties are always in a bunch.
It's a good thing I go naked. I'm free balling this.
You don't wear the pants. You don't wear. Yeah, you dish your pants. Says it was on CTV that the government cuts are underway. Massive cuts to get the military spending covered.
7.5% by the first quarter. April 1st. By the end of summer, Carney's ministers need to be able to show plan to cut their spending by 7.5% for the first year. And I think it went up to 15% by the third year. So they need to have a plan that can be implemented on April 1st, 2026.
Well, we talked about this, which would have been Tuesday, I think. And I was kind of like, hey, sweet. Like, you know, something we can praise Carney about, because it's real savings, right? But then if it's just to go and pay for military, then it's not really savings at all. And again, we did say, you know, if the military is underfunded and needs to be invested in, 100%. By all means, invest in them. But, you know, don't just spend money just to meet some NATO threshold that we don't really need to. And Robin continues.
But before you go, your example last time was perfect. Your ex-girlfriend that buys something for $100 on Amazon. She tries it out, doesn't work as advertised. She's not happy, and then said, "Oh shit! I just saved 100%. So I just saved $100. I get
she brings it back. No, so you get $100 back. Oh no, I got this other thing, and it was 120.
Yeah. She was like, it only cost me $20. No,
no, that's not how it works. The math doesn't work like that.
But you know, she's your girlfriend, not a globalist banker that was sold to us as an economy genius.
Yes, so an economic genius. Yeah. So she has an excuse. Yeah. And Robin says he isn't even sharing where he's on vacation. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, I think that's really weird. Like, they always tell us where leaders are going on vacation, right? Like, what are they saying? It's a security thing. Well, that makes us look bad because we can't keep our prime minister. Like, you think we should be able to keep our prime minister safe wherever he is. Yeah, I just think that's weird how they didn't even tell us where he is.
You know why they're not telling you. You know exactly why they're not telling you. Because Trudeau made the mistakes of always telling us where he was going. Do you remember the Aga Khan? That's like a massive fucking donor to his campaign. Billionaire dude that always has massive leftist politician. That's probably what he's doing. Like, I'm not saying he's at the Aga Khan, but it's probably something like that. He's somewhere that he shouldn't be, kissing the ring of a guy that shouldn't have any power in Canada. And at least he learned from Trudeau to not put that on social media everywhere. So now it's a security concern, because obviously Mark Carney is a target for people around the world because he's such an important man that's been disrupting things, right? All he's been doing is sucking penises left and right, backing down from any fucking deal that he makes. And maybe he needs security to protect him from his own people. Maybe that's what it is. The threat is from Canadians, not from people from other countries.
Yeah, no shit, eh?
Maybe.
Robin says Trump went in with clear goals and they are being met by any means necessary. Subjective/subjective fairness accounts. I mean, I'd agree with you on that. He's more or less doing kind of what he said. I think again, you can't, like, I think Trump's an idiot. I don't think these are any type of like really strategic-y thing. It's just Trump being Trump, but you had to understand that was going to happen, right? There's no point in being mad at it. You got to look at Trump as almost a natural disaster, and just work around it. There's no point in getting mad at it. Natural disaster for Canada, at least.
Yeah. No doubt. It's not going to work out the way you wanted it to, but at the same time, man, I think people are underestimating or overestimating how hard it is to deal with them. Just fucking flatter his ego and understand that he's not a politician.
That's it.
He's not a politician. He wants to make sure that he looks good every single time.
Yes.
And in sales, one of the things that we were doing is convince your potential customer that it was his idea in the first place to hire.
And he is very susceptible to that. Right?
Of course he is. Everybody is actually. It's just he's
uniquely, because he's got that narcissistic thing. And it's actually pretty easy to work with Trump if you understand that. And I feel like they were completely not prepared for dealing with Trump's unique psychology. And yeah, I'm sure that there are some people like on the left to be like, oh, you can't give in to him. You can't give in to him. Who gives a shit? It's not the time to worry about
your fucking ego. It's not an ego thing.
It's not an ego thing. It shouldn't be. It's not well, it is a competition, but the score is not being kept in ego points. It's in dollars and cents. And it's not, we can't win that battle. Now, if as we were saying, if you invest in this country, if you beef up our economy, if you get export capacity all throughout the world, then
winning.
Yeah, then you can go around and you don't need to kiss the ring. You don't need, but right now you need to flatter the guy. You need to
fuck your ego. Fuck your ego at the end of the day.
You need to make him look like a genius. That's really all he cares about. And no matter what, you cannot fucking attempt to humiliate him. You can't, because his psychology, he will not. He's very petty. He will not just be the bigger man ever. Yeah. He will always come back 10 times harder, and he'll tell you that. And I feel like they really did not take his psychology into account.
I think you know what's going on. It's that they know how he is, but that is all Carney has. The only thing that Carney has left that his voters are still behind him for is the fact that the illusion of him standing up to Trump. And the more I look at the people's comments, the more I realize that, remember who voted for him. They're not the ones that are going to be destroyed until Carney goes after an equity tax. But until that day, those boomers, those people that voted for Carney, that don't care about the past 10 years of liberal policies, they are not the ones that are hurting. So you can keep on telling them that we're going to fight Trump, no matter the cost. They don't care because they can't see past what the fuck that actually means.
Yeah.
So that's all Carney has, is that little ego of his. And yet a real leader will take it on the chin to just whatever it takes. It's not about you, man. It's about if it was
right.
really about Canada, he wouldn't be on vacation. If it was really about Canada, ministers and our House of Commons would be open right now. They wouldn't be on fucking vacation on summer break, considering that they had been prorogued since December 17, 2024 until April. So the point is, it's an ego thing. They don't give a fuck at the end of the day because it's not going to impact them. It's not going to impact their wallets. So, but that's all Carney has now. Because if he loses that, if he admits in person, if he admits out loud that he needs to please Trump, his voter base is gone. Because that's all.
The fact is,
that's all they got left.
It's true.
100% is true. Of course it is.
Guys, we're talking here about Donald J. Trump and, of course, the tariffs he just slapped on Canada. Make sure to throw some comments into the comment section if you have something you want to say. If you agree with us, if you disagree with us, throw it in. We'll get to it. Wise guy says, Rob, fentanyl is a huge problem in Ontario. I can say that with certainty. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like when I said it's not really a big problem, I guess I'm speaking from my own perspective, but yes, I'm in New Brunswick. It probably isn't going to be a big problem here. If you guys on the board are saying it's a problem, I'll definitely defer to you on that one. And I guess my overall point was I don't really think it's about fentanyl. But regardless of, even if cleaning up the border with fentanyl, even if it wouldn't help our negotiating position, we should still do it anyways, right? It shouldn't be something we only do to
because we're being told.
Yeah, because we're being told. And we'll probably put it in there just because we just got a ton of comments. We could spend the rest of the show on this, but we do have some other topics to get to. And Nico, lead the way.
But before you guys do, if you're on next, make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to restream this stream. Yes. That's how you can help us out. But if you want to join the conversation here, because as Rob says, we have a lot of comments. There's no way we're capable of taking them all. But we do love to see people talking amongst themselves because, goddamn, we got smart listeners. It's very impressive considering the combined IQ of Rob and I that people are actually this smart in the comment section. So if you are on X, make sure to join us at the Poli Orphans on YouTube. Join the conversation. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. And if you feel that independent media is important, that you feel like two guys, a leftist and a rightist, a conservative and a liberal, opening up that space where we can have conversations from the two sides and show our work, see where it falls. Don't you have a chance to help us out? $2.99 a month. You can support independent media. And just so you guys know, man, I talked about this earlier, but we got people from media watching our show because one of them that's very sought after right now has fucking reached out to me saying that he watched our show and corrected the CBC News report that I shared. So just so you know, man, we got some big heads watching this show. Never, there's no way for us to know if you're not commenting, but just so you know, man, you guys are influencing you have the potential of influencing a show from the comment section on YouTube. Yeah, that is being seen by the people that are making the news
that we're talking about.
I'm not bragging here. This is a fucking fact. Well, I'm just saying, if you want to have your voice heard, join the chat right there because we do interact with our commenters.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Okay, when Travis reached out, he was, he corrected the record, but it was the main reason he reached out. But he also like, hey guys, I love the idea of the show. He thought it was really cool. Yep. So yeah, that was pretty neat. And yeah, I guess you pretty much hit all the bases in that little pitch there, guys. What Nico said. If you do want to, if you think it's important what the show and the community that we're trying to create here, best way you can support us is to become a member. And with that, we'll move on to the next topic. But remember to, if you are new, the format is we're going to have our discussion about a topic, and then we're going to get to your comments. So as we're talking, if something jumps up, if you have a correction for us, throw it in the comments, and we'll get to it.
So this is something we definitely need to talk about. I would have addressed it a lot earlier if it wasn't for the fact that I was at the hospital with my newborn son. But I did share this on my Instagram 2 days ago. The video went viral. Thing? Yup. So we got an RCMP staff sergeant is telling us that traditional values are now considered extremist values. So let's listen to this one.
what they're saying on a subject, like becoming more extremist, like, and if someone was very believed in equal gender rights, but all of a sudden are leaning towards like traditional values, and that might be a sign that they're becoming more extremist. But we
so this is just a 20-second clip that I saw that I reshared. But before we get into it, I wanted to show something because I have not watched this video yet. But just to kind of prove my point that I was saying earlier, how we are for the first time that I know as an adult that Americans are so interested in our politics. Here's Fox News. They shared a 1-minute video. I haven't watched this. I'm just fucking. It's Friday. Let's make it funny. Hopefully it will be funny. But here's a 1-minute video from Fox News, and they're basically calling it Canadian police spokeswoman warns traditional values may be a sign of extremism.
Well, radicalization in general quite often will show by people isolating themselves and changing their behavior, like changing what they're saying on a subject, like becoming more extremist, like, and if someone was very believed in equal gender rights, but all of a sudden are leaning towards like traditional values, and that might be a sign that they're becoming more extremist. But we also have to remember that having the most extremist views is perfectly legal in Canada, and that it's only acting with violence to prove that view that becomes a criminal offense.
So basically, she didn't make it any better. I would say that that video is worse than the 20-second one, because now she's basically saying that they get to pick and choose which type of extremism they want to go after. Because remember the Freedom Truckers, they weren't fucking violent, yet the RCMP is the people that went after them, that beat them up, that actually stumbled on a woman with their horse. Call it whatever the fuck you want. They did not do that to Free Palestine. To the Free Palestine protest. They didn't do that to the BLM protest. They did not do that to all the protests that happened during 2020 when everybody was supposed to be on lockdown. But obviously it was okay to take down John A. Macdonald, our first prime minister's statue in Montreal, completely destroyed. That's what I would call violence, yet
extremist.
No consequences, no problem. So basically what she's saying is that if you don't believe that a woman can have a penis, you are considered extremist.
Yes,
that's basically exactly what she's saying.
Yeah, that and that's a point I was going to make. When she
obviously
said,
I knew I could steal your thunder on that one. Though.
You did steal my thunder. When she said believed in gender equality, she didn't mean that you believe that men and women should be treated equally under the law, which I think probably most people believe. She specifically meant, or equal rights. She meant that you believe that men can have penises, and males who claim to be women should be placed in female prisons. They should be allowed to compete with women. So if you once believed that, but then you came back maybe to your senses and said, you know what, actually, I don't believe that. Now you're an extremist. And that's insane. That is fucking insane. Like, that's a ridiculous take. But if you heard someone on Twitter say it, I mean, people say dumb shit on Twitter all the time. It wouldn't matter. This is a spokesman for the RCMP. This really does matter. I need to know. And like traditional values, that's such a broad thing. So if you feel that the best environment to raise your child is a mother and father who are both present in their child's life, which is a very common belief, I need to know if the police are going to consider me an extremist because I believe that. That's fucking insane. So it's also, you know, of course, you knew she was part of the rainbow people. She's non-binary herself, which is, you know,
is not she really?
Yeah, she identifies as non-binary.
Of course,
yeah, which is the most ridiculous.
Wow, never saw that one coming.
Yeah. But the RCMP, they need to get on the record here and correct this real fast. They need to rein her in and say, no, we do not believe that a belief in traditional values in any way equates to extremism. That's insane. That's like the nonsense that they say, you know, the media, how they're saying like, oh, are you into fitness? Well, you might be a white supremacist and that kind of shit. Like, what the fuck are you talking about now, man? Like, I don't know where they got this nonsense, but that is completely unacceptable from a uniformed RCMP officer, Staff Sergeant, what's her name? I don't know.
Staff Sergeant Camille Abel.
Abel, yes, and she is.
Oh, sorry, as you guys would say, Camille Habel. Camille
Habel. Camille Habel. Yeah, but that's that. I couldn't believe when I saw that, and apparently I saw. Now I didn't get a source, but I had seen earlier today. There was a someone on X, I believe, a reporter, who said that they had spoken with her, and she doubled down. She defended what she said. So she's not backing down from this. She's not going on the, oh, I misspoke, which you might have hoped. You could say maybe like, of course she didn't misspeak. She knows what she meant, but at least it would show that the RCMP behind the scenes are like, nah, bro, you can't do this shit. But I don't know, man, that's completely unacceptable from an RCMP officer to be claiming to speak for the RCMP. Canadians have a right to know. If you believe that a nuclear family is a good thing, are they going to consider you an extremist? That's insane.
At the end of the day, I'm not surprised, because this comes from a country that has. I was at the hospital on Thursday morning, right? Yesterday morning.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Wednesday morning. And we're about to sign in, and I posted that on my Instagram as a story, and people were like, oh, motherfucker. But right in the back of the main, like, of where you register for a doctor to come see your wife, because she's about to she's in labor.
Yep.
There's a big sign. There's a big rainbow heart saying that how all of that shit is very important, and we need to be more exclusive. And hold on, let me see. I have it on my cell phone. This was, can you guys see it? You kind of have an idea.
Yep.
Like this was right behind it. It basically said, "Vous êtes en milieu clinique," so you are in a clinic environment that is inclusive, humble, and secure, with the heart, and it is the FMSQ. What the fuck is the FMSQ? Let me see what it is. Motherfucker. So this is literally the Federation of Medical Specialists of Quebec. So again, another provincial government funded entity that is preaching this bullshit, and you're telling me that we need to encourage mental illnesses. So in here, in the block operation, in the place where they deliver babies at the hospital where I'm at, they are preaching that we need to be inclusive to people with mental illnesses. And how much you want to bet that I'm going to have, like, they gave us a bunch of stuff, as in those are the things you need to remember, maybe tips and tricks on, like, the nurses are awesome. They're giving us a bunch of tricks on change diapers, feed him. Like, they're giving us cool tricks. How much you want to bet, and I'll go over it, but how much you want to bet that they are not called mothers, but they're called
birthing people, pregnant people. By the time you get back to
like that,
by the time you get back to the hospital after the show, there'll be a drag queen reading to your son.
Brother, I would.
Could you imagine?
He'd get the shit kicked out of him, and he would learn how to fucking fly on the fucking spot. High kick to the wig, and then flying through them. No, but my wife is with the kid. She would never.
Give him a roundhouse of traditional values.
I guarantee you that my wife would understand that a front kick to the balls,
traditional values, right there.
Yeah, my wife would kick your traditional values, your testicles, and your dress. Yes.
Yeah.
Once again, are you really that surprised that that's how the RCMP talks when the Federation of Medical Specialists of Quebec, which I wouldn't be surprised that has psychologists and psychiatrists, I have to verify, but medical specialists are telling us that we need to be more inclusive to people with mental illnesses? Like, brother, in their pamphlet. I know I saw it somewhere while I was there. They called them person birthing people. I saw that somewhere in their documentation.
That's so,
I just need to identify it, but I know I saw it.
Dehumanizing. It's so fucking
yeah.
Uterus havers, fucking birthing people, whatever the fuck they call them these days. I feel like I guess one good thing that I guess was somewhat comforting to hear was that she said, basically she said it's legal to be an extremist. It's legal to hold those views. She said it's not a crime. And I'm thinking like, yeah, it's like, because in the UK, your people are getting arrested for extremist tweets and shit. So at least here in Canada, at least officially, it's still legal to hold even extremist opinions. It is. But it's pretty nerve-wracking there, where you're trying to define traditional values as an extremist position. That's wild, man. I really can't believe that, because it just shows it like kind of exactly what far left woke ideology is about. It's about inverting the norms. It's about destroying everything that's the norm, and bringing in extremism, extremist positions, extremist values, extremist identities, and making them the norm. It's a complete inversion of the vast majority of values of Canadians. Even like most even most regular liberals, do not believe that traditional values is an extremist view, but they're trying really hard. And it's one thing to hear that from like the Socialist Party of Canada or the Communist Party of Canada. It's really unnerving to hear that from an official spokesperson of the RCMP.
I was just thinking as you're saying this. So in Canada, if you don't believe that women can have a penis, you're an extremist, while our PM is telling us that Muslim values are Canadian values. How many Muslims believe that women can have penises? That's the question for you.
Yeah.
Try to explain that mental gymnastic. I would love to have a woke person on the show to try to explain the mental gymnastics that it will be required in order to explain that one to me. If RCMP believes that a guy like me that don't believe that a woman can have a penis is an extremist, and that our prime minister believes that Muslim values are Canadian values, that Muslims don't like gay people. They don't believe that women can have penises. How do you explain that both are Canadian? Explain that one to me.
Because it's just a sleight of hand. When Carney says that, he doesn't actually mean real values. He just means they're brown. They're the other. They're from. That's what he means, though. That's really like they are the other. They have a different religion than Christianity. They are something that's outside of the norm within Western society. Therefore, we have to fetishize them and lift them up as this paragon of decency and goodness, even though oftentimes their behavior shows that that's not at all actually accurate. Should we take a couple of these comments?
Take them. I was done on that subject.
Yeah. Bumpy says, is she French? I heard that and felt there might have been something lost in translation. Yes, she is French. And she is French, and there was nothing lost in translation. As a Frenchie, I can tell you she meant what she said because she repeated it more than once. And although she does have an accent, her English is pretty solid. Like she knows how to speak English, and that she's not like she is not your typical Frenchie that can't speak English. She speaks English very well. Yep.
And she 100%. Knew exactly what the fuck she was saying.
Well, yeah, I mean, she doubled down later. So, yeah, she's not, there's no loss in translation there. Robin says, wow, fucked up. Indeed, it is. Bumpies, they didn't do it to the First Nations protesters who blocked highways and damaged railways. Yeah, that's kind of extremist, isn't it? Blocking highways, damaging railways. But when you're on the left, what defines extremism has nothing to do with what you actually do. It's what cause you're doing it for. So if you blow up pipelines, railways, block roads, vandalize Teslas, do any number of things that are quite extremist, but for the right cause, like riot during 2020 lockdowns, then that's not extremism, that's righteousness. Versus if you do something else that you don't actually do any extremist behavior, but your cause that for example, the truckers, but your cause is against the left-wing narrative, then you are by definition an extremist. And that is basically how the woke left comes to these positions. New Dog Productions. Howdy, brothers. Just lurking while I fish in a game before work. Hey, thanks for tuning in even while you're out fishing. Appreciate the comment, New Dog, and enjoy your time on the lake. Wise Guy. It feels like all this inverting reality is some kind of psychological experiment to see whether we will accept it. Yeah, I kind of think it is. It kind of feels a way, so much of wokeism is really about self-hate, right? It's about hate. That's why they hate Christians and they will happily discriminate against Christianity, but they love basically every other religion because Christianity is associated with the West. That's why they hate whiteness, because whiteness is associated with the West. And once you understand that it's really just about hating themselves and then everything else just kind of makes sense and falls into place. But yeah, isn't it a psychological experiment to see whether we will accept it? I don't know that it's necessarily like a conscious plot like they decided it. I just think this is how they actually believe. And if we accept it, they will keep pushing. And that's why it is imperative on us not to accept it. Bumpy says, Nico is my authority on the Quebecois. Correct. I don't. Nico's the Frenchy whisperer. He can translate the what they actually mean.
It's not even a whisper. I can actually understand what they're saying and speak the same language as them. So it's like the French speaker. It's more than a whisper. I can actually have conversation with them.
Jim says, Nico, when you get time, check out Survival Lily. She has some pretty interesting things to say about things going on in Australia, digital ID, etc. If that's true, it's coming here. Yeah, and digital ID is something we have been trying to talk about, but we ran out of time. But we will get to it. I know it's a pretty big topic for Nico, and I think one of the other one of the other commenters was pretty keen on it as well. But we'll what do we got? Half hour left, so we'll jump into the next topic so we can try to squeeze those in before we.
Before I do though, I just wanted to let you guys know that on Monday we will have a lawyer from. Yep. So on Monday we will have one of the lawyers that works for the Justice Center of Constitutional Freedom to come talk about the Nanaimo, BC. The city of Nanaimo, BC has put a new bylaw in place where it is now illegal to record city councils. It is illegal to record their meetings. It is also illegal to record from municipal properties. So, for example, parks. So you're no longer able to record people at parks in Nanaimo. So we do have some connections with the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedom. They have started a legal process to have them repeal that new bylaw, and we will have the lawyer responsible for it on the show on Monday at 12:30 p.m. And also at some time next week, I'm still got to talk with Rob on this, but we will have a guy by the name of Derek Reimer. I've interviewed him before on my other podcast. He is a Christian. He's a Christian pastor that's been heavily involved in speaking against the what's the term? I don't know why I always forget this. Yeah, drag queen hour in Alberta. He's been arrested time and time again. He has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on legal fees. He's been helped by Rebel News in order to pay for those fees. But he texted me yesterday because he's somebody that obviously he knows what I'm up to, and he knows that if he wants to have his message out there, we're one of the places that he could come on to talk about. But he texted me yesterday just saying, hey, man, I just got out of jail again. So I have updates on my case.
For what? Praying outside of these drag queen story hours?
For preaching outside of those drag queen hours. And
meanwhile, you
exactly
got the Muslims fucking shutting down Bloor Street with police protection, and you're not allowed to say anything. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Again, I if you watch the show for any length of time, I'm not a Christian, I'm not religious, I'm an atheist, but I have a fundamental sense of fairness, and it offends my sense of fairness and justice when you elevate one religion and make them untouchable while denigrating and keep having your boot on the neck of another religion. That will never work in a diverse society. All it does is create tension and resentment, and it makes you wonder if that isn't the point. Maybe they want tension and resentment.
So the goal is to I asked you this morning, you didn't answer, but might as well talk about it right now. Wednesday. Sure. I'm thinking of having him on Wednesday, 12:30. So
I thought I got back to you, but yeah, that's cool.
No, so we will have, so again, the point is that we will have a lawyer on Monday to talk about the Nanaimo, BC, and the case that Justice Center for Constitutional Freedom has started against the city of Nanaimo. And also we will have Derek Reimer. I'm waiting for him to confirm, but the plan is to have him 12:30 Wednesday. So if you guys got questions for either case, for both, make sure to be there. That's why we bring them on, man, because nobody else has the balls to talk about all the shit that we talk about. And by shit, I don't mean that it's irrelevant. I'm just an idiot that's used to using the word shit, but we will talk about the stuff that people are not aware. I haven't not seen anybody else outside of the Justice Center and myself.
Well, I hadn't heard about that, the Nanaimo thing, but it's definitely an interesting
And the only
topic.
reason I know is because I know people that work for the Justice Center, and I've asked them to let me know when they're working on a case, because I will spread it. Like I want to talk about it, and I will post about it everywhere. So I haven't seen anybody outside of me speak about it, and we're lucky enough that I have connections within the Justice Center, and we will have the lawyer that is responsible for the case to talk about it.
What's the brief summary of it? Nanaimo makes it illegal to film city council meetings,
and also record at parks, record at any premise that is under municipal power. Why? So basically, that's a good fucking question.
What is the reasoning?
We'll ask on Monday why the hell they think they did it. But I made a post about this last week, and basically what I said is not only should we be able to record them, but we should have access to we should have access to their email address, to their calendars. We should have access to their phone logs. When I worked for the man, my boss had access to all this shit. If he wanted me to share my stuff with him, he had fucking access to it. Bro, if you work for a company, believe me, they have access to all of your shit because they work for you. Those people are no different. They work for us. So not only do I want to be able to record them, I want to know where they're at any given time on the fucking job. I want to see their emails. I want to see their voice logs. I want to see everything that they do. They're working for us, not the other way around.
I mean, you can definitely, I don't really understand the parks thing, but you can definitely understand why they wouldn't want people to be able to film city council meetings, especially if they're putting in place unpopular policies like, I don't know, placing male rapists in female prisons or something like that, right? It's kind of like what we talked about the other day, last week, when we said it's funny how so many, far left wokes, they just refuse to debate, which is interesting because, we were talking about with Travis Danraj, how they were saying part of his issue was he wasn't allowed to bring conservatives on, and the CBC brass was terrified to have conservative voices, and that's kind of a microcosm of the entire left, especially the woke left right now, where they just will not engage with anyone who doesn't already agree with them, which of course is a sign that deep down you probably know you can't defend your position. If you feel like you're right and you feel like you can defend your position, you welcome the other side, right? You want to talk to those people on a big platform because you can beat them in a debate, or so you think. But if you're just refusing to do it, that's a pretty strong sign that deep down, and maybe not even all that deep, that you actually don't believe, or you can't defend your position.
100%. To me, it's a no-brainer. That's exactly what it is, because as a men's rights activist, I've been on some of the biggest platform in the world. I will continue to do so to speak to feminists. So because I know that I'm right. Not only do I know that I'm right, I have facts on my side, and I'm a common sense type of person. We can have those conversations just like we do every fucking day. So yes, if you can't defend your positions, you don't fucking believe in them. Plain and simple. So let's move on to the next topic, because I'd like to squeeze 2 in if I can. Super fast, I wanted to bring up Manitoba, because right now there are Manitoba wildfires, and Manitoba has declared a state of emergency. But it's not just the Manitoba case that I want to talk about. I want to bring that one up, but there is also something. I have intentions, as you know. I am a conspiracy theorist, so I do have.
Did you see the letter that I think like the U.S. Congress sent to Canada, which basically said like, get your shit in order and stop. You know, you got so many fucking forest fires. You're ruining our summer, kind of.
Because of all the smoke that's going over.
Yeah. It's basically like, start, get your shit in order, Canada.
I hope they're sending the same things to California.
Yeah, no doubt. Eh?
Let's see what CBC says about this, and I want to draw. I have a conclusion to this that I have a hypothesis. I just want to see what you guys think.
Theory?
Okay. Yes.
All right.
Oh my gosh. This is no good.
Flames started reaching over the treetops in the day. By night,
oh no,
this wildfire reached the edges of Garden Hill First Nation, forcing a rapid evacuation, requiring the Royal Canadian Air Force to help in an airlift, along with commercial aircraft to begin moving about 4,000 people. Evacuees arriving in Winnipeg. Dashiell Fiddler is anxious.
It's either my house is going to be still standing, or it's going to be gone.
Meanwhile, this fire has another 1,000 people leaving the town of Snow Lake under evacuation order for a second time in just weeks.
At 12:01 p.m. today, we declared a provincial state of emergency.
Manitoba's premier again declaring a state of emergency to secure accommodations for new evacuees, saying Winnipeg's convention center will be set up to house up to 7,000 people. About 6,600 people are still displaced by earlier fires. Hotel rooms are scarce.
We're pretty much maxed out at capacity there in terms of what we can access in the next few days.
Firefighters were making progress over the last couple of weeks. Lightning in recent days across Manitoba's extremely dry central and northern regions sparked new fires. About 1 million hectares or 10,000 square kilometers has burned so far this year.
So what we're looking at is somewhere in the neighborhood of nearly 11 times the 20-year average.
Dwayne Chernobyl captured these videos of the fire in Garden Hill and efforts to contain it. He's still in the community helping with the evacuation.
When it's getting that close, you move people out, I guess. You have to do what you have to do. You can't be assuming that it isn't going to come and then all of a sudden it turns.
Evacuees will continue to arrive here in Winnipeg over the next few days. Manitoba's already record fire season, now on its second surge. Cameron McIntosh, CBC News, Winnipeg.
So here you have a bit of an informational based video, I guess. And as you were talking, I guess before I try to make a point here, I want to show what you talked about, because I was doing some research as the video was playing, and this is probably what you were referring to. Republicans blame Canada for wildfire smoke suffocating the U.S., and it seems that there are a group of 6 Republican lawmakers say that they want Canada to answer to it. In our neck of the woods, summer months are the best time of the year to spend time outdoors. Well, that's pretty much every fucking where, you twat. Enjoying time with family and creating new memories. And they're saying our communities shouldn't suffer because of poor decision made across the border. Canada's government said it was reviewing the letter and planned to offer a response. What will be the that the response will be climate change. It's not our fault. Yeah. Climate change. Climate change.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know enough about Canada's forestry policies to know if we're doing the right thing. I don't know. I just laughed when I saw it. I thought that was funny. It's just the U.S. Congress being like, "Hey, Canada, get your shit in order." But yeah, of course they're gonna be like, "Oh, climate change."
But I just want to show this, right? I don't know, because as they mentioned in the video, this is not the first time it happened this year, right? And just to put it out there, and that's reported by CTV News. The last time they had wildfires in Manitoba, 2 charged with arsons amid fire bans in Manitoba. CBC reports arson a strong possibility in fire at Whiteshell Cottage. Canada claims Canadians' wildfire are caused by arsons. So you just start looking and you're like, and then you look at, remember what happened in Saskatchewan? We talked about it. There was wildfires, and very similar to what we're seeing in Manitoba. This has been a little bit, it's probably, I think, 2 months since that happened. But I just wanted to share this here, where it says that, and again, CTV News, Saskatchewan government says as many as 30 incidents under investigation for arson related to wildfires. So Saskatchewan is the Saskatchewan government is telling you that there's 30 incidents, not 30 arsonists, and they mentioning it right here. Or there's 30 incidents suspected that has been started by arsonists. So before you get,
how much do you want to bet that they get a slap on the wrist?
But and same thing that happened. Remember the California wildfires, the LA wildfires. That's exactly what happened. They came out afterwards. They accused a bunch of people of arsonists. They have the camera footage of people setting fires. So is it the same thing that we're seeing here? There's a massive mismanagement in Canada when it comes to the way we deal with our fires. Because one thing is, I don't understand how people don't know this, but new forests, like better forests, are normally created by the first one dying. After a while, they will that part of a forest will suffocate, it will dry out, it will die, and then new trees will grow. But we need to do a better job at managing the grub, making sure that those dry pieces of woods, those dry trees are not just there laying around, that we need to clean them out so that there's clear lines between active forests, like healthy forest, and healthy forest, that there's not a massive amount of fucking dry grub sitting in the middle, that if that catches, it starts both sides. Exactly. There should be, and this is a thing that in the past, most provinces have accused Ottawa of not doing a good job at managing the
that's
dry
what the
stuff that's left
controlled
behind.
burns are all about.
Yes,
right? Yeah,
100%.
It's designed to have a small fire now, so you don't have a big one later.
So on one side, people keep on telling us that it's the climate change that's causing this. Then Saskatchewan, that had wildfires, when was it, 2 months ago, if I'm not mistaken? Last month, actually, 2 months ago, but last month, even them were saying that 30 incidents were under investigation for arson. And already Manitoba's last fires last month, there's incidents that are under investigation for arsons. So I don't believe that we have a climate change problem. Obviously, we clearly have an arson problem, and yes, we have massive mismanagement of the, what's the actual term?
The forest,
the dry stuff. The dry stuff.
Yeah. I think I think that you never really hear, like, you'll hear like, oh, they arrested 20 arsonists, but you never hear any more about it. I got a feeling like they're probably not getting any serious time. It's probably looked at as some minor crime, but I think we should like, as a society, put in place laws that make arson that leads to a forest fire like an extremely serious crime, like years,
like a criminal offense.
Yeah, like a major criminal offense, like 5
dry
10,
brush.
15
Thank you,
years.
Robin.
Yes, yeah, like years and years, because this is 100%. It's becoming it's becoming a serious issue. All right, should we grab a couple of these comments here?
Yeah, grab a couple, and then I just want to talk about what people think about Epstein. That's the part that's more conversational, because no matter how you look at it, it just, you know what? Let's just open the question to that, and then we can take it, because I don't need to show videos about Epstein's. We all know Epstein. We all know what the fuck is going on. But I want to put just one thing out there, because I saw that post the other day and I was laughing my ass off. So just so you know, Pam Bundy, that said that she had on her desk video recording had proof that something happened, is now saying that nothing. Bongino, the guy that's been saying on his podcast for years that we need to investigate Epstein, now that he works for the Trump organization, is like, yeah, no, there's nothing there. There's no client list. Same thing with the FBI director is now saying that there's no fucking list of Epstein. But let me remind you one thing. Ghislaine Maxwell is still in prison for 20 years for clients that don't exist. That's basically what they're telling us. So why the fuck is she in prison for 20 years? Just saying. Just gonna put it out there.
Okay, so are we going to jump into that now?
I would say so, because that's all I had to say. Because the wildfire is just my hypothesis, and clearly it ain't fucking climate change. Sure. But I just want to remind people from all that we've heard over the past week about the Epstein file and how there's no client list, and if you believe that Trump's on it, that Biden on it, everybody's part of a club we're not part of. Like, they're all part of a club that we are not part of. Would that surprise me that Trump's on it? Fuck no, it would not surprise me. Well, I mean, at the same way as Justin Trudeau was on the flight logs. Same thing as Carney has connection to Ghislaine Maxwell. Same thing as they all fucking know each other. You know that Carney is a friend of Prince Andrew that's been caught time and time again with really fucking pedophile shady shit happening, and he just disappears for a while, and then he comes back. He's like, "You guys remember me? No? Okay, cool. I'm back." So they all know each other. I just want a fucking list. But if there's no list, why is fucking Ghislaine Maxwell in prison for something that never happened? And we're talking fucking 20 years, dude.
Oh yeah, I mean,
come on, guys.
There's clearly a list, and this list was never going to come out. Like, I thought that was. I've always thought that was like a huge blind spot on MAGA by most MAGA people, where they thought Donald Trump was going to be the guy who exposed them. Like, really? Like, Donald Trump is absolutely on that fucking list. Like, there's an article from him from like 10 or 15 years ago where he's quoted talking about Jeffrey Epstein, right? And this is before he was just a rich guy back then. No one knew exactly, or at least the public didn't know what he was all about. It was like, oh yeah, Jeff Epstein, he's a great guy, but he loves the ladies. He even likes them a little young. And I'm like, holy fuck. Like, it was in like GQ magazine or something. Like, Trump is in that balls deep.
Actually, it's his balls that are deep in something.
Yeah, that list was never gonna come out. No. What I don't understand though is why did they fuck around? Like, why did they say they were gonna release it if they knew that they weren't?
So you know the theory that I heard, and this one is just, you have to be able to question your leaders in the same way as I question Pierre Poilievre all the time, right?
Yep.
People are trying to sell the idea on the MAGA side right now, and it's blowing my mind that people are agreeing with this. But people are saying that the only reason that Trump is not releasing the list of client of Epstein is because he's planning to use what's on the list to blackmail the deep state.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
Oh, really?
Remember QAnon?
I guarantee you that Epstein, just like Diddy that just walked on human trafficking charges, are part of the deep state, and that is what the deep state does. The governor Hot Wheels from Texas, Senator Hot Wheels, has said it in an interview that that's how the deep state gets the left and the right, people that are Democrats and people that are Republican, to vote on the same bills, although they should oppose each other. They're part of the same, they agree, but for some reason they agree on that bill. That's no problem. That's how they get it. They got something on you and they're fucking using it to make you sing. Trump ain't fucking fighting the deep state with the Epstein list. The deep state is fighting Trump with the
it's just like
come on, man. They're all on it. They're all part of it. We're just not part of that club.
It's what George Carlin says, right? It's a big club and you ain't in it. Look, I can recognize that Trump has value in this moment. I think he, in a lot of ways, he was exactly what the U.S. needed to really push back against a lot of the woke nonsense that was really becoming a serious problem. And I think his election really accelerated this culture shift away from that stuff. So I think there's value there. Sure. That said, Trump's not a fucking Boy Scout, man. Like the people who think that Trump's like this genuinely just beautiful soul. Like he's a narcissist, like all politicians. He does what's right for him. And it might just so happen that's what's right for him in this moment also was what America needed, maybe. It sucks for Canada. But, this idea that Trump was like this white knight coming in to like expose the corruption. He has his own corruption, man. Like he may expose certain types of corruption, but there's more than enough photos of him with Jeff Epstein to know that he's on that list there somewhere. Does that mean he's actually out there fucking underage girls? No, not necessarily. But he's got more connection there than he would like to put out.
I don't think anybody in their right mind believes that there's no Epstein client list. I don't think anybody in their right mind actually believes that Diddy wasn't a diddler. I don't think anybody thinks that we're not part of the same group as they are. Am I saying that Trump is a pedo? That's not what I'm saying. Did he know that Epstein was? Of course he did. That's the thing, right?
Yes.
I'm not saying that you're going to find his name, and I'm not saying you won't. Neither would surprise me. I would be not surprised by either case. But that applies to he knew what Epstein was doing. Same thing with Trudeau. Trudeau was on his flight logs multiple times. Am I saying that he went and he diddled kids? I don't know. Would that surprise me? No, because I think he did. But does he have connection to a man that is known for diddling kids? Yes. Did he know that Epstein was doing that? Yes, he did. So don't give me that shit, right? This is the thing. Oh, no, he's totally innocent. He's a man of God. Yeah, no. Sorry. No. So that's the thing we need to remember, right? Is he a Boy Scout? Your Boy Scout analysis is great. Even if he didn't do it, he fucking knew that it was happening. And there's no fucking way in hell. I don't know of one single person that doesn't think the Epstein list exists. And that's the problem, right? No matter the role that Trump had to play with it, the fact that they're now saying that there's no list, love Trump all you want, but you got to admit that this is bullshit. Whoever's name's on it, that list fucking exists.
I got when you told me we were going to talk about this today, so I saw this video. You guys might have seen this, especially because it fits perfect because it's Friday afternoon. It's only a minute. It's like a minute and 5 seconds. But you guys you're gonna like this, and it sums everything up. But
before you go, just let me ask people out there: if you don't believe that Trump is on that list, why is Trump not sharing the list? That's what I would like to know. Because again, I'm not saying he's on there. But fuck, he knew who Epstein was. That I don't believe that he didn't know.
Yeah.
But why do you think he's not sharing that list? Because that's the real question, right? Why is the Trump organization not sharing that list? What do they have to lose from sharing it? And especially with a Dan Bongino that's been talking about it forever, that how the Democrats needed to release it. And now he's part of the FBI and he's not, he's like, no client list. Same thing with Pam Bundy that said that they had the list and now she doesn't have it anymore. Like, what's going on here? Just explain to me if you don't believe that. Do you believe that list exists? Yes or no? And if you don't believe that, if you do believe it exists, why is Trump keeping it away from the public?
Yeah, guys, chime in, and as you're answering Nico's question there, I'm going to show you guys something. It's directly related to this. I think you guys will like it, and then we'll get to your comments, and that'll close out the show. This is such a great song.
Bucket list, your grocery list, your list of things to do. You got a list of all your wishes. That's a wish list, dude. You got your Amazon and Santa Claus and Tooth Fairy too. But I know a list that don't exist. And buddy, so do you. It's the Epstein list. It's a mystery list with a twist. It's a myth of a list that we all dismiss. Be an optimist, not a pessimist. If you wish to persist, it's probably best to forget that list. What were we talking about? I don't remember. But I can sleep a lot better at night. Yeah, life can just go along. Knowing there's 10,000 hours of sunshine and flowers and nobody doing a damn thing wrong. Hear no, see no, damn Bongino cash to tell. Well, I wouldn't want to be a sweating man with bulging eyes. So tell me them fellas ain't compromised. Any implicated dude will tell you. Anybody on the big list knows. just how far the folks in charge will go to keep the status quo. So when the war bell rings, the song that they'll sing is a song that we well know. I-oh, I-oh, so it's off to war I go. Well, they said they're gonna fix it, but now they're all complicit. They-oh, 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 so it's off to war we go. In the pour after war, what else are we for? They-oh, 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 they-oh.
I thought that was great. He says what we're all thinking.
It's I just want, and again, I'm not gonna get in argument with people as to is he on the list, is he not on the list. I don't know, no way to prove it. But like I said, he definitely knows who Epstein was.
Yep.
Just like the people in Hollywood definitely knew what Diddy was up to, because so many people have referred to their party like LeBron James. Ain't no party like a Diddy party. He wasn't talking about drinking alcohol at an event. Like bull fucking shit. You're almost a billionaire. You can do that on your own without people organizing parties for you, because you can organize whatever the fuck party you want. But the point is, those people know what's going on behind the scene. If they're involved or not, still, they're aware. Is that why they're not? Let's say that Trump is not on that list. Is he not sharing that list because some of his friends are? Why is he not sharing it? That's really the question. And I love, just like I like the woke people's mental gymnastic to try to explain something, I love to see the MAGAs in the US that will not question Trump or whatever their people like the FBI or Pam Bundy is doing, like Cash Patel, Dan Bongino, and Pam Bundy. They won't question them, but they know that they question. Dan Bongino questioned the Biden administration for years about this. You know that Pam Bundy would do the same. You know that Cash Patel did the same. Yet now that they're in those positions of power, they're like, no Epstein list.
I think I do think the far, or like the hardcore MAGAs, I think they're wrong about Trump a lot too. A lot of the far left wokes are wrong about Trump. Like, he's not as evil as they claim, but he's not as much of a saint as a lot of MAGAs think. Like, he is not. He cares about Donald Trump, right? He is, I think, fundamentally a narcissist. Like almost all politicians are. You have to be to want to be the fucking president of the United States. I think there's a good comment here from Wise Guy. He says, I doubt Trump is the kind of guy who judges the other elites he deals with. He has consistently hung out with the evil people who can help him financially. He knows, but isn't willing to expose them. Yeah,
that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I think that's right. You might say, you could get into a debate if you think he's immoral or not, but I think he's definitely amoral. I don't think he really cares. I think he
fair enough.
He cares about his interests, and I don't think that he's, we've talked about before, one of the ways I think is best to think of him is almost as a mafia don. And I don't mean that necessarily in a bad way. Like, you think of what's that movie, The Godfather?
Don Corleone.
Yeah, Don Corleone. He was a man of respect, right? He was a respected man.
Was not a good man.
He was not a good man. No, exactly. But he did have a code, and he wasn't he's not gonna go and rat out people. Like, Donald Trump is not gonna go out and turn people in because it's the right thing to do. I don't think he has that in his lexicon.
He's not I don't believe that he's a moral man if it can make him money.
Yeah, exactly. I think money is his morality. Do you think he's like? I don't think he's a real Christian. I know he claims to be, but I don't think
he's not a Christian.
No, I know.
You cannot claim to be a Christian if you're pro-abortion. You can't. You just cannot. There's no way for you to explain murdering the unborn if you're a Christian. You can't. You just can't. He does not care. He knows he's not a Republican. So I would have never expected him to be a Christian. He's more of a Democrat than anything else. So he doesn't fit in the Democrat Party. So he ran as a Republican. But at the end of the day, he ain't a fucking Christian. He knows it. We all know it. And Christians just chose the lesser of two evil in voting for him. But he's flawed. He's not a savior. He's not Jesus Christ coming here to redeem you. He's not. And I agree. I think that that'd be the best way to see it, is how Wise Guy said it. Just say,
yeah, I think so too.
Did he necessarily? Do I believe that he's a pedo? I don't think he is, but I have no proof of this. But at the same time, he knows who is, and doesn't really care as long as he makes money.
Yes.
That I think is fucking bang on. That
I think
for me is very hard to fucking argue. Just in the same way as I was saying that the people from the actors in Hollywood all knew Diddy was a diddler, that's what he did, and they just chose not to deal with him. That's it, right? They dealt with him in public, but outside of that, they didn't. But to say that they're not involved, as in they don't know, there's a difference between saying, oh, I think they knew about it, and going to Epstein's island and raping children. There's a massive fucking gap between the two, but at the same time, they have some part of accountability knowing that they know. Like, we know that they know. No, I don't think anybody in their right mind can dismiss that, can defend that Trump did not know. Don't know people on that list. Because I don't understand why they would block it unless somebody that he knows is on that list, or he's on that list himself. It doesn't look good, right? It just does not look good. And remember, a few months back, they gave documents to some of the biggest influencers in the US, the right-wing influencer, saying that they had the list. They made a big deal. They went to the White House, and everybody was like, "Woo, we got the list. We're going to share about it." Do you remember that? It was a massive media event, and now people are like, so basically you were given what, white papers? Is that what we're believing?
Well, that's kind of what Bumpy here says. He says the quote unquote client list would have to be constructed through actual evidence. Just a list, it's easy to believe it does not exist. The issue is guilt through association. I kind of agree that I think a lot of people have this idea that it's an actual list, a piece of paper with names and maybe dates. He
had an agenda, like he had his little black book with every single person, their title, their email address.
Prince Andrew.
How many times? What's their preference?
I don't think it's like that.
It's a spreadsheet. Epstein had a spreadsheet on his laptop in a folder called client list.
Yeah, it's like the list, if it exists, is probably a box of evidence that's just scraps of paper with a name here and there, and you have to put it together. And he might say Donald Trump or some other famous person, and maybe it's him hooking them up with an underage child, or maybe it's just him making plans for a New York Knicks game. I don't, you know what I mean? Like I don't think it's nearly as clear cut as a lot of people want to believe. But the idea that like there's no evidence. What, like
that over the past 4 years, 5 years? It happened in 2019.
Yeah,
memory.
Yes,
that in the past 6 years, the FBI has not worked out a list of potential clients.
Yeah, I know, come on. Like, why is Gazelle? What's her name?
Giselle Maxwell.
Yeah. What? Like, has she had a trial, or is she just like kind of in jail?
20 years in prison right now, bro.
Did she plead guilty or?
I don't remember. But it's just the irony that she's in prison.
But yeah, there's no evidence. But she just like, no, I'm just gonna go and plead guilty. There's no evidence against me, but it's just, of course, yeah. It's ridiculous if you believe that. If you believe there's no evidence, there's no. I think the word list gets misconstrued. I don't think it's just a very clean cut list with names and dates and who they had sex with.
They did not find a spreadsheet called my client list on Jeffrey Epstein's laptop, like
with the ages of the girls.
You know that information exists somewhere. Somebody has that, but is it all put together super nicely, sent in an email to the FBI agents that's responsible for it, and he's just like, click, oh shit, here's the list? No, they had to build it, but to believe that there was no potential, you know what, instead of calling it a client list, call it a potential client list. But to say that potential client list doesn't exist is bullshit. It exists. You know that they have a very fucking good idea of who probably went to that fucking island. So but it is, see, I totally agree. It is corruption at the highest level.
As Anvil says, yes. And I also agree with the second part here that Anvil says, I don't care because we can't change it. Yeah, I mean, it's not like, I wouldn't say that I don't care, but like, I don't, like, it's just a kind of thing that happens. It's like, you know, do I care that there are starving kids in Africa? Yeah, theoretically in some abstract sense, but do I care? No, not really. Like, it's just the world we live in. There are just shitty things that happen. I don't personally find this I've never found it understood really why it was so important to some people, because to me it's pretty garden variety corruption for these kind of people. As we keep saying, it's a big club and we ain't in it, but this is what these people do and have been doing as long as there have been super wealthy elites. They've been doing this kind of shit.
So here's a website. This is justice.gov. So that's the Department of Justice of the United States that has that on their website. It says that Ghislaine Maxwell sentenced to 20 years in prison for conspiring with Jeffrey Epstein to sexually abuse minors. And it is saying that today's sentence holds Ghislaine Maxwell accountable for perpetrating heinous crimes against children. So, again, this to me is irony. So if there's no client list, there's no proof that minors were abused, why is Ghislaine, however the fuck you say the French word in English, Ghislaine Maxwell in prison? This is the irony, right? That they're covering each other. People at the highest of power are just covering for one another. This is not about politics. This is not about the Democrats versus the Republican, because the Democrats weren't fucking releasing that potential client list either.
It's bipartisan for sure. It's bipartisan.
They party together when the cameras are shut down.
Yes,
they're all part of a big club that we are not part of.
That's right. We'll take this last one and then we'll cut her short for not short.
Cut her short with 7 minutes
over. Yeah, a couple minutes over. Wise guy says, let's be clear. The Epstein girls were basically underage escorts. Don't assume many of the girls were willing participants. That is correct. But he finishes with, I think, probably an excellent point. It was the blackmail of important people that mattered. And that's real. 100%. It doesn't,
100%.
Exactly. It's not like, it doesn't matter that the girls were underage and raped. Of course, that's a tragedy and crime and terrible. And all of those things are true and correct. But if we're talking big picture, what really is the important thing as it relates to how to the world, that's kind of the more important thing, is how are these people compromised? Because these are some of the most powerful people in the world, and how were they compromised, and what were they then blackmailed to do? Because it's not that crazy to think that some of these people would have been politicians, and your laws are being influenced by this stuff. Business owners or CEOs, these are the global elites, right? So that's really where the story is important in terms of global importance, and that's not to say that what happened to the girls wasn't terrible, because it was, of course, but the big picture story really is about that corruption.
Just go check out, try to find the video of Greg Hotwell Abbott, the governor of Texas. He has a great interview out there where he explains how this is all working. I don't remember where I found it. I'd have to look for it. It's just that he explains what's happening at the highest levels, and that's why Republicans and Democrats will vote on the same bills every now and then. He's like, the deep state is out there. They will find what you like. If you're gay, if you like children, whatever the fuck. Whatever the fuck you like, they will find it, and they will make sure that they will influence situations where you're put in that situation to fulfill that need that you have, but they'll make sure that it's all recorded, and they will use it against you when they need it. So it's all about blackmail. It's all about protecting each other. It's all, I don't remember who said this, but you have to have, at the end of the day, when you're at the very top, you're the elites, you have dirt on everybody, and that's why everybody keeps their lane. That's why everybody are self-checked in the line, and they don't talk against each other, because they all have shit on each other, and exposing one is exposing them all. That's why you'll never see it. But for people to believe that there's no potential list is just, come on. you got to stop believing that your party's different than anybody else, that your leader is not just a human being, that maybe he's a pedo, maybe he just doesn't have moral fiber in his body to say, I will not deal with those people because of the type of shit they do on the weekend. Or maybe that those people have something on Trump that has nothing to do with children. So it's, it's one of those things. They all have bullshit on each other. And this is why things won't change.
Well, yeah. And you knew that list would never come out. It's just far too many powerful people on all sides of the aisle are probably implicated there. Final comment. Bumpy says, what was achieved from the blackmail? Prince Andrew is the most obvious guy ensnared in this filth, but what influence does he have? Just about zero. Well, the thing is we don't know, right? Like, probably
behind closed doors, we don't know.
Most of the most important blackmail, in theory, very likely we just have never heard about it. And that's why
Jeffrey Epstein being the perfect example. Who the fuck was Jeffrey Epstein to the commoners?
He was like a math teacher up until like 40, and then just became a billionaire like overnight. That's a super crazy, mysterious story, and we still have no idea where he got his money from.
But the point is that guy was not a known dude. And at the end of the day, that guy was not sitting at the top of the mountain. That guy was just a dude doing its job. There are people way above that dude that we will never fucking know who they are. And that guy was just the face of that specific entity of let's create blackmail through taking advantage of children, unfortunately.
Yep, absolutely. All right, guys, we're gonna put a pin in her there. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. You could have been anywhere in the world today, but you chose to be here with us, and we appreciate that. If you are tuning in for the first time, then you want to support the show, if you think what we're doing is important and you want to support independent media, you can become a member for the low price of $2.99 through YouTube. Yes, as Joe Strama says, Jess popped in to congratulate Papa Nico, and then of course adds a very Joe comment right after. Identity politics distracts us all from the class war we are all losing, and I agree with you. It's just funny. Joe's like, I just came in to say congratulations, Nico, and then of course but how else going to talk about the class war? But yeah, Joe's got to be Joe. Joe, we missed you today, brother. Hopefully we catch you next week. Guys, have an excellent weekend. Be safe. Get out there. Have some fun. And we will see you Monday when we will have... Who's our guest Monday?
It's John Carpe, actually. I just got an email.
Oh, it's John. Okay, cool.
So John's going to come up to speak about what's going on in Nanaimo. And Derek Reimer did confirm, as we were recording the show, that he will be on the show on Wednesday, 12:30 p.m. both.
Nice.
John Carpe at 12:30 to talk about Nanaimo on Monday, 12:30 on Wednesday to talk to Pastor Derek Reimer. Why was he still in prison again?
Yeah. So we got some great guests next week. And other than that, guys, we will see you next week. Take care of yourselves.